All right, our next topic, as we go through and we talk about different things we can do with the set of natural numbers, is order of operations. We have a bunch of different operations from adding and subtracting and multiplying and dividing, exponents. We can group things together. And the question is, does it matter what order? So for instance, look at this first example. I've got 3 plus 7 times 5. There's two ways you can do this, and we're going to get different result. Let's say I did 3 plus 7 first. 3 plus 7 gives me 10, and 10 times 5 is 50. But what happens if I do the multiplication first? 7 times 5 is 35, so I have 3 plus 35, and 3 plus 35 is 38. So clearly we got two much different answers. I got this answer of 50 when I did the 3 plus 7 first, and I got this answer of 38 when I did the 7 times 5 first. So how do I know which one is right? Okay, so which one is correct? And so what this opens up for us is the idea of there is an order of importance to the operations. And I'm going to list that for you. You've probably heard this before, but this is super important to get right. It also matters when you're entering things into your calculator that you're doing that right. So here's the order of operations. The first thing that you do is if there are grouping symbols called parentheses, you do those first. Parentheses attract your attention. Things are grouped together, so you go right there and you start with the parentheses. Okay, the next thing is you do any exponents. Exponents, remember, talk about repeated multiplication. We were just using those when we were dealing with our prime factorizations. Now, next, some of you are repeating to yourself a little acronym. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay, now I don't like Aunt Sally. Aunt Sally is a deceiver. She leads us to the wrong answer because Aunt Sally causes you to believe that multiplication comes before division, but it doesn't. Multiplication and division are the same operation. They are the same order of importance. So if you have both multiplication and division in a problem, then what you do is you just start from the left side of the problem and you go to the right and you do whatever you encounter next. And the same thing is true for adding and subtracting. Adding is not more important than subtracting. Okay, they are the same operation. They are mathematically equivalent. And so when you have both, you go from the left part of the problem to the right part of the problem. So for our original problem, which of my two answers is the correct one? Well, let's look. I have addition and I have multiplication. On my order of operations, which comes first? Well, multiplication. Multiplication is the third thing. So the right thing to do is to start with 7 times 5. And 7 times 5 gives you 35. And so that means that the correct answer is 3 plus 35, or 38. 50 is wrong. You have not done the operations in their order of importance. So we're just going to practice this a few times, and that's going to be the extent of our what we're going to do in this section right here. So what I would like you to do is pause the video and do exercise 1. Okay, you've unpaused the video, and so when we do this, I've got -8 plus 24 divided by 6. So my choice here is pretty clear cut. I either add first or divide first, and on my order of operations, division comes before addition. So I'm going to do the 24 divided by 6. So what I get here is -8, and then 24 divided by 6 is plus 4. And now -8 plus 4, if you need to, you can use your calculator. In this class, you are free to use your calculator. -8 plus 4 is -4, and that is my result. If you got something different, then you did the problem wrong. All right, I'm going to slide up. I would like you to please do exercise 2. Now we got one that's a little bit more complicated. That's okay. Just follow your list, push pause, and we'll reconvene here in just a moment. Okay, once again, welcome back. So going through the order of operations, I do not have any parentheses here. There's no grouping symbols. So step one done. The next thing is exponents. I do have exponents. I've got two parts of this with exponents. 6 squared, 6 times 6 is 36. 2 squared, 2 times 2 is 4. Now I'm going to give you a little recommendation. Just do one thing at a time. We are in no rush here. I'd rather you be accurate and be a little slower than try to do everything all in one step. So I'm just going to do one thing at a time. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go from left to right, and I'm going to do multiplication division. Because remember, multiplication does not automatically come first. Okay, it's whatever comes first, left to right. So as I go from the problem left to right, what do we encounter first? We encounter negative 24 divided by 4. So what I got is negative 24 divided by 4 is negative 6. And then I have negative 6 times 3 is negative 18. And then once again, I'm going left to right. 36 minus 18 is 18. And then 18 plus 1 is 19. I just did one thing at a time because I'm more concerned with being accurate than being fast. Being fast will come with practice. Being accurate takes intentionality. All right, exercise 3. I want you to give this a try because I just want to make sure we understand how our exponent is performing in this. So pause the video and do exercise 3. All right, welcome back. So what I have here is I have an exponent of 2. On my grouping symbol here is just for the negative 7. There's nothing inside the parentheses to do. So I'm just going to focus on this exponent. Now, an exponent applies to what's directly below it. And what's directly below this is the parentheses. So what this is saying is once you've done a couple of these, you don't have to write this out, but I've got negative 7 times negative 7. That is the thing that's being squared, is what's in the parentheses. So negative 7 times negative 7. And so when I do that, negative times a negative gives me a positive 49. Now, when you flip the page, you're going to see the same problem, but it's going to be missing the parentheses. I want you to pause the video and do that, and we're going to see what is the difference when I square something that's either in parentheses or is missing the parentheses. So this time, remember, your exponent applies to what's directly beneath it. And what's directly beneath this is the 7. So what I have here when I do this is negative 7 times 7. The thing that's being multiplied by itself is the 7, not the negative. The negative is outside. So what I could do is I could circle this and say all I'm doing is squaring the 7. And so then I have 7 times 7 is 49, and then that negative is out in front, and I have a negative 49. All right, that's going to matter as you go through some of these problems. So make sure when you're squaring the right thing. So exercise 5, we got some grouping symbols here, and then we've got some parentheses that are just there to separate negatives. Give exercise 5 a try. Please push pause on the video and work that problem. All right, so we're back. So the first thing I'm going to do in the order of operations is parentheses. So I'm just looking for parentheses that actually have something inside to do. So here, these parentheses, that's just a negative 6. We'll come back to that. Here, I have 5 minus 7 in this parentheses. Okay, so I've got negative 6 squared minus 5 minus 7. Again, feel free to use your calculator if you need to for accuracy. 5 minus 7 is negative 2 squared, and then times negative 3. That's my parentheses. I focused on the set of parentheses that had something in them that I had to do. Now I'm going to do my exponents. I've got 2 exponents here. I've got negative 6 squared. That negative 6 is in parentheses, so that is I'm squaring the whole negative 6. So negative 6 times negative 6 is positive 36. Negative 2 times -2 is +4. Now notice this minus sign was outside already, so that we did not square that. And then I have times -3. We've done the parentheses. We've done the exponents. The next thing is multiplication. So I have a -4. Now, when we're doing our order of operations, if you have a -4, it's the same thing as a -4. So don't freak out about that. Don't get too hung up on that. So I have a -4 times a -3. That is a plus. A negative times a negative is a positive. 4 times 3 is 12. And then I end up with 36 plus 12 is 48. Two more. Push pause. Do exercise 6. All right, so we are back. I hope you took time to do this problem, and now you're just checking your work, and then hopefully you get the chance to celebrate. So there's no parentheses on this, so exponents come first. So 7 times 7 is 49 minus 48 divided by 4 times 4 is 16, and then times 5. And then plus 2. Uh-oh, this pen is not behaving. Let me come back here. So now we've got, I'm just making this look darker. 4 times 4 is 16 times 5 plus 2. Okie dokie. And so now we're going to go through to our multiplication division. We're going to do it left to right. So I have 49 minus 48 divided by 16. You can use your calculator. A -48 divided by 16 is -3. Now I'll do that multiplication. -3 times 5 is -15. Adding and subtracting from left to right. So 49 minus 15 is 34. And then 34 plus 2 is 36. One last problem. Push pause on the video and go ahead and go and do exercise 7. Now there are more than one set of parentheses. So just to give you a little hint, always work from inside out. So let's see how you did. So I've got 2 sets of parentheses, and the reason they're different shaped is so you know which ones go together. These squared off ones are called brackets. Those go together. And then we have these parentheses. So I'm going to start with the innermost ones, the 7 minus 12 inside those parentheses. So I've got 30 divided by, there's my bracket, 5 squared divided by 7 minus 12. And your calculator will tell you that's -5. So I'm just going to put that in parentheses so I don't lose that negative. So now I'm done with the little parentheses. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the brackets now. Now notice in the brackets, I have a choice. Do I do the exponent 5 squared, or do I divide by -5? And the order of operation tells me I'm going to do my exponent first. So 5 squared, 5 times 5 is 25. I still have something else to do in this bracket. So we'll do it. 25 divided by -5 is still -5. I've done my parentheses. I've done my exponents. Now I've got to do my multiplying and dividing. So I have division. 30 divided by -5, that is -6. And then I have -6 minus -9. We know from our rules for subtraction, that's -6. A negative, 2 negatives make a +9. And so -6 plus 9 is 3 as the answer. If you got anything other than 3, then you made a little mistake. So go ahead and rewind the video and see what that is. So good luck on your order of operations problems and getting the right answer.